We have a loose cable.
Hello.
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 Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Anybody there? Huh? Huh? Why isn't it coming through?
I can hear myself a little bit.
Oh, there you
Oh, there. Ooh,
This
that's
board.
Ooh.
This board
Hello,
is
board.
This is a trickster board. I had to take the fader all the way down and back up again, and then it reset it. It's got some little quirks. This Zoom live track.
All right, you got a quirky board there.
Quirky board here. And I'm sitting here at Bonbon's Nook with Monday Morning.
Hello, Bon Bon.
Welcome to the
Sean
Nook.
Bon Bon.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So you just got back from a pretty epic road trip.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
What are your impressions of the whole experience? I mean, that's a broad question, but how are you feeling?
I feel surprised and nourished. My brother and I drove around the California countryside, visiting wild places and friends and wild gatherings, and was in awe and amazement of the art of the natural world and artistic things happening in places around California.
So a lot of inspiration, a lot of visual inspiration coming through.
Yeah.
And then also with the people that you met, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very enlivening, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
What was your experience with ecstatic dance along the way?
Well, we got to attend a few different events in Oakland, San Francisco, a couple of things in Santa Cruz. Went to the Sweets Ballroom in Oakland, which is a big party. There were a lot of people there, and it was it reminded me a lot of Burning Man. When we showed up, we saw someone going down the street with these big devil horns, and they were wearing nothing essentially, and was curious if it was just like something else happening in San Francisco, or like if that person was going to the ecstatic dance, and we saw them go in the door ahead of us, and that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's a Burning Man vibe.
Uh-huh. I actually got to catch up with that person afterwards, and they were standing out in the cold in their skimpy outfit, and somebody asked them, like, aren't you cold? And they're like, yes, I'm very cold.
But it's all worth it. What was the experience like dancing? Would you do a lot of contact improv? Different people?
So I think that it was a very dark setting, and I didn't know anybody there. So there's, I think, often a hesitation in even the ecstatic dance world to have contact improv sessions with a stranger. And I had intended to go to the contact workshop before the dance so that I could meet people, know who was into contact, and then they have rapport with me. But I missed that, and the party was in full swing when I got there, and I ended up having 2 contact dances with strangers, and a little bit with a friend that I came with, but they're not as engaged or committed to the contact practice as I like to indulge.
Yeah, for me, getting more and more into contact improv has been amazing and magical. And before, though, when I saw people doing it, I'm just like, what the hell are they doing? It didn't make sense to me, like, for whatever reason. Like, I couldn't understand why you would want to move like that with someone. But then when somehow I kind of just like inched my way into it, and now that I've been doing it, it's just like, it's amazing. I can't believe I had judgments about it or wasn't interested in it before. It's just it's such a cool and interesting way to connect with people, and it's so nourishing on so many levels.
Yeah, I really love to express myself through dancing, and it is just a whole other level of fun to do it in connection with somebody that's being present and playful. And for our listeners who don't know, contact improv is a form of dance that involves improvisational movement while in physical contact with another person or persons. And it's kind of an open format of playful exploration of somatic bliss.
Yeah, so one way to explain it really simply would be like you just kind of start rolling onto someone else's body slowly, and then you start, when you're going with the music, and you're finding ways to groove together and like move together in these ways where you're not overthinking it. You're just kind of feeling and letting your body kind of just go where it will go in sync with theirs. And the more open both people are, the more that can like flow in a graceful way, and you get very creative and artistic with the movement of the bodies, I guess.
Yeah, and it can be anything from just like touching hands with somebody to
right,
rolling over each other on the floor or throwing each other up in the air and doing kind of stunting aerial maneuvers.
Yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to it. So like some people, when they hear about it, they're like, oh, that sounds crazy, because they're maybe thinking about like the flying people part of it. That's more elaborate and that sort of thing. But it could just be, like you said, as simple as just touching hands and moving hands together kind of in these different ways to the music, and exploring like pushing and pulling of hands, and just going around in different ways and seeing what that feels like. And it could be very simple.
Yes, and in a lot of cases it can be a very intimate experience. And it so I find often that people are intimidated to do it with strangers unless they're very comfortable with the art form itself.
Right.
And there's a big element of trust, and like, do you trust that the other person, the stranger, also is familiar enough with the form that it will be safe in terms of intimacy and in like physicality?
Yeah, and it seems like part of that is fostered by the way the container is held for the dance itself. And so a lot of the dances, they'll have like the opening circle where they talk about the agreements of like how we dance together and how to set boundaries in good ways with people, and things about consent and all of that.
Yeah, and that's another reason I think it's important if I'm trying to dance with people that I don't know, that I show up to the contact lesson or jam that happens sometimes before the ecstatic dance, so that the people there can have a sense that I know how to do the thing and that I want to dance with them, and I know that about them, so that we can seek each other out on the dance floor.
That's really smart. That's a really cool way to do it, instead of just kind of leaving it up to chance or random connection. You can kind of, yeah.
And so a few days later in San Francisco at the Church of Eight Wheels.
This place sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's this ancient cathedral with a very tall ceiling and these giant stained glass windows with saints and other imagery. It's a really beautiful space, and it's been converted into a roller skating rink, the Black Rock Disco roller skating rink, and there's these big banners of Prince on either side of the stage, and it's a lot of sunlight on a Sunday morning, and it's also a very large group. And at that event, I did get the chance to attend a contact workshop with Carl Frost, and there was about 30 people at the workshop before, and then maybe another 100 or more people showed up for the dance after. But I had the knowledge of that these 30 people are either do contact improv or are curious about it. And so we had that rapport later, and I ended up dancing with at least 10 or 12 different people, and also danced with lots of other people that we didn't do contact, but I felt just amazingly warmly welcomed in that space. And there were a lot of friendly, open, playful people, and I had a really amazing time.
It sounds incredible. Yeah. It makes me want to travel and go to some different communities to dance.
I'm really excited to dance there again and also explore other dance communities.
Yeah.
That one was the closest in the, how should I say, the dance community that we have in Eugene is very lively and playful and open and warm, and there's a lot of people interacting with each other, which is I find going to a lot of ecstatic dance scenes in other communities, not as much interactivity amongst people. There's always some, and some places have more contact than others, but we do a lot of like smiling and playing and dancing with other people.
Yeah, it feels very lighthearted and celebratory a lot of the time.
And I really found that similar vibe at the Church of the Sacred Heart of Eight Wheels.
Nice. So it felt almost like a sister dance to Eugene's dance.
Mm-hmm. And it's such a cool space. Like, it's this tall cathedral that you can see from like any high point in the city.
Wow. Yeah, it's so cool.
And also got to go to in Santa Cruz. We did 5 rhythms dance, and a friend who used to live in Eugene was hosting a contact jam for their birthday week in Santa Cruz, and that was a really cool jam, and ran into an old friend there.
Cool.
And they invited us out to their wooden cabin deep in the woods to stay the night. They have this wood cabin that's shaped like a flying saucer.
Okay. Yeah, that's unique.
Yeah, it was just like deep in the woods on this like 200-year-old road. They said it was, as far as they knew, it was the oldest paved road in America.
That's a really interesting claim.
Yeah.
Do you think it was true?
It was very old. It was from like Gold Rush era, and hand poured tar from tar fields down the street. Street.
Yeah, it sounds like it could have been. There's a good chance that it could have been true.
Maybe.
It's a great story. Where did you go on to next after you danced in San Fran?
So while we were in San Francisco, we took a detour down to San Jose to go to the Sharks game. I'd never been to a professional hockey game before, and that was an experience. My brother has been a Sharks fan for 20 years or more.
Okay.
And so it was his first time seeing them play. So it was an experience. We were staying with a friend from back home in Kansas City, where we grew up, who we used to play Ultimate Frisbee with, and he hosted us for a few nights in San Francisco and came to the Sharks game, and also we saw Humphreys McGee at this really beautiful old theater in San Fran. And then we went down to Santa Cruz, and from there we went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Oh, what was that like? What was your experience?
It was very busy. Spring break.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was lots of families there, and my brother and I were wearing these matching shirts with a pattern of fish, and we didn't see anybody else wearing aquatic apparel. And we got a lot of comments about our matching shirts.
That's funny.
Yeah, he got those shirts for us a long time ago, and it's always a silly thing. So it was cool to wear them there. It was wild. There's this jellyfish exhibit that has like dozens of species of jellyfish, and some of them are like discovered and studied for the first time by the facility there. And it was my first time being amongst thousands of jellyfish, and you can like be right next to them behind the glass, and they're all different sizes and shapes and textures. And
wow, yeah, that sounds amazing. So you could see that many through the glass there. Like from your perspective, you could really see like thousands.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, like the larger ones, there was one tank that had maybe like 100 big ones, but then there was like a lot of different tanks that had different sizes and shapes.
Were they doing things with the lighting, like colored lights and things like that?
Yeah, the lighting was really cool. It looked like they were all glowing yellow, or a lot of them were in this lighting that made them like really pop and glow in the dark. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I'd love to do some video of that.
There was also a number of creatures that had mechanisms that make it look like there's like flickering rainbow lights in the bodies of the jellies.
Wow. Yeah, what a visual feast. Like the whole trip, you know. Just like all this variety that you're coming back from. Like has that been kind of like marinating and producing new ideas that are starting to bubble up from after your trip? You know, like creative projects or moving forward with things.
Yes, absolutely. And I always have those kind of ruminations happening, and visually inspiring things integrating into some of my creative visions and projects. And yeah, that's really exciting. We rounded off the last few days of our trip in Las Vegas, and there's just such a wealth of art and innovative art and spectacles. And we saw a Cirque du Soleil show and some other shows, and there's just so much art in that city.
I've never been there, but I would definitely like to check it out sometime. I'd like to go to LA too. Like Las Vegas and LA, they're both places I would never consider living or being very long, but to visit seems like it could be really magical because of the amount of art being produced and the different pockets you could find of just amazing artists doing their thing.
The Bay Area too.
Yeah,
there's
that too. Yeah.
Even passing through like Crescent City, Arcata, Eureka, there's so many murals on our whole trip everywhere. It's really amazing artwork.
Wow.
On buildings all over the place. I also got to visit a really cool circus facility in Eureka called Synapsis.
Oh, cool. That's a great name.
And it's like a training and performance center, and they have several living quarters there as well. It was a really beautiful space, and we ended up getting to meet and tour with the people that run the space, and we had several people on our trip who are old friends that had offered to host or hang out with us that we ended up having misconnections and not running into them. Or
it's okay though. Just
but
the
then
way it goes.
Other things popped up and came through. Like we got to stay there. We also visited this other cool circus facility across from Golden Gate Park called the Circus Center. And it's this really cool big facility. And
Do they have living units as well?
no,
Residency program?
I don't think so. They didn't say anything about that. But we got to tour that facility. There are different kinds of training rooms, and they had a bunch of different classes happening while we were there.
Nice. Did you get a chance at the other one that had the living facilities? Did you get a chance to talk with anybody about their experience, what it's like to live there? Like, are they, I guess they're doing residency programs or something like that? Or was it actual just like people renting?
So there's a couple that has been running a circus program in Eureka for around 20 years, if I understand right. And they bought and renovated the space during the early stages of COVID. So it's new to them. And they run a variety of different kinds of events there. And
Cool.
Seemed like a really positive experience for them living there and
Nice.
getting to host a variety of performers and traveling acts and local acts. And they had just finalized some stages of installing a community kitchen for making food for events, and we got to use that to make dinner.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I hope that we hear of more instances of things like that starting up and happening, where there's places that artists can thrive, artists and performers can thrive like that, and then also have like residency programs and ways of handling living situations, because it can be so hard to make it in the current system of capitalism as an artist here.
Yeah, our circus community here has been tossing around ideas about what it would look like to get a facility, and ideally it would have some sort of residential application and plenty of space to play outside as well.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
And we were connected to Synapsis through a woman that performs with the Coyote Call Circus here in Eugene. She used to work with that group and do performing and training there. And yeah, we're working on putting together educational series and camps and things here, and working towards a vision of establishing some sort of circus center in Eugene that is accommodating to a plethora of performance art activities.
Yeah, so Coyote Call has done 3 shows now, right? And then you've got more that are being booked, and one of them is going to be at Cascadia Campout.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Yeah, it's a music festival, music and arts festival put on by a local team featuring local and regional music and artists, and it's going to be in Veneta, Oregon in mid-June.
Yeah, good place to have a festival. It's going to be close to those country fair vibes.
Yeah.
Getting it started. It's going to be before fair, right? In June?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to really kick off the festival season. Cascadia Campout, and then country fair coming up next month after that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun summer.
Mm-hmm.
Any other festivals on your radar that you are interested in?
There is a performance art festival that happens at a circus collective near Bellingham, Washington, called Shebang. A festival of ideas.
Okay. What's the general feel of that one?
Is this a festival by clowns for clowns?
Nice. Here's the clown calling.
Oh, we got a call from a clown.
Oh, wrong number.
Oh.
Those clowns clowning around.
Yeah. And so about half of the acts are music and the other half are performance art. And the main event of the weekend is a downhill derby gravity car race down a treacherous, steep, windy road with ramps. It's pretty wild.
Sounds like a fun adventure.
It's a lot of adventures wrapped into one. There's this. They have this semi-permanent facility called the Stink Eye Saloon.
Okay.
Where they have like this kind of immersive theatrical performances and burlesque and late night dancing in the saloon. And there's a pirate ship that is another stage that has programming throughout the day and night, and there's a lake to swim in.
Sounds pretty magical.
It's become one of my highlights of the year. I really
nice
get a lot out of going to that event and meet performers and musicians from around the world. But a lot of the people there are from like Bay Area up into British Columbia.
How did you get into circus arts?
Some of my earliest memories from childhood are from my mom dressing me up as a clown and painting my face. When I was 5 years old, I dressed up as a clown in the 4th of July parade in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and I won second place in the clown contest. I think just for being cute at that time, but I went on to do some light birthday performing and hosting, mostly for my siblings' birthdays as a high schooler. And I went into doing a lot of theater in high school and college, and didn't really consider circus and clowning as a viable profession or professional hobby until my late 30s. And I had a really strong desire to be amongst performance art and artists and a community that was passionate about play and fostering playful environments and promoting play and silliness and drama that invokes wonder. And for me, clowning is not just about silliness, but it's also about introspection and providing a mirror for oneself and the audience to identify parts of the psyche that are cheerful or thrilling or scary or unnerving, and with levity and grace exploring the relatable aspects of self that could use some shaking up.
It's a really
wrestling.
That's a really nice way of articulating it, and that resonates very much as true for my experience seeing the Coyote Call Circus performance is, and especially the most recent one is more clear in my mind, of course, and that's the one at the Majestic Theater in Corvallis. And that one just really had those elements that you described, and it had those feelings and those ways of, it's like bringing levity to all these different aspects of the human experience.
Fear, self deprecation, yeah, sense of failure is a big theme in that show,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then also like hope and friendship coming through too.
Wonder.
Yeah.
I loved the part. There's just so many parts that were very visceral and interactive, like when the bubble started falling on the crowd, and just in that moment, it was just so perfect. The timing of it all, you know. There's just different moments where it was just like the right thing at the right time to be experiencing. It was very, very electric and very colorful and very much like pulled you into the moment. And it seemed like the audience was very much held their attention was very much held the whole show. There wasn't any part that was kind of like dragging or like where you're losing people. It was like people are really with you the whole way. It's the way that I was experiencing it. I also had front row seats. It was awesome. I was really in it. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite moment from that show was when my character, who is a Lepidoptera, which is a flying insect that is also a pizza clown, and I metamorphosized from a glatterpillar into a mirth, and the moment of my antenna emerging from the cheese coon.
I remember that.
My antenna are actually fashioned out of a delivery pizza box, and I don't think that's what caused the uproar of laughter when the antenna emerged from the cocoon, but I was delightfully surprised when I heard a roar of laughter as soon as the antenna came out of the cocoon. I was like, all right, I have a captive audience. This will be fun to fly around and play as a giant pizza bug.
Yeah, it worked really well, and your wings looked great. The tortilla blanket that you wove into there.
Yeah.
Which was donated to the cause.
Yes, the wings of the flying mirth were a pizza, and the backing of it was a tortilla that made a perfect crust, which I discovered in your van one day, and I was like, "Whoa, that would make a great pizza crust." And you were like,
"Totally worked.
Please."
Anything for the cause, you know.
It was delicious. Thank you so much.
Yeah, totally. So I'm curious if you'll tell people a little bit about your campaign that you're running.
Very well. Well, as introduced before, my name is Monday morning, and I am campaigning to be mayor.
Mayor of what?
I am campaigning for the mayorship of the planet Earth.
Okay, what's your plan? What's your platform?
Well, Sean, my platform is your platform.
How does that work?
As mayor, my priority is not to have any proprietary power or decision-making prowess or ability to create edicts or directive orders from the top. My prerogative is to raise a platform of collective decision-making such that the people feel they have a voice in how decisions are made, resources are allocated, and the collective visioning of the advancement of human culture and the caretaking of our planetary society, including the workings of human culture as well as the cultures of the earth, land, and sea biospheres.
Do you have any campaign sponsors or backers for this?
That's a great question. We've been garnering a lot of support from people that we talk to, and so far the campaign hasn't needed or wanted for any kind of financial support. The campaign is mostly fueled and thrusted by our recruitment of partners in governance.
Okay. How does that work?
So I see my primary role as planetary mayor is to recruit deputy mayors.
Okay, so if I wanted to be a deputy mayor, like what would I do for working under? I'm not working under you, right? Because it's not like you're giving edicts from the top. So
yeah, it's
I'm
definitely
working
not
alongside you.
a hierarchical structure, but the structures in play are designed to be orchestrated by the team of deputies.
Okay.
And I have recruited a couple of hundred of deputies so far.
A couple hundred. Okay.
And our plan is to create a community of around 12 million
12 million deputy mayors.
deputy mayors, yes. Planetary deputies.
12 million. Do you think that'll be enough?
I think by that point we will have a lot of ideas and systems circulating to generate a healthy number of representative deputies and factions and committees, and that will be able to put things in play. I think in one sense the invitation is to everyone to be a steward of the global community, and the team of deputies is really a functionary establishment for carrying out the various collective wills of communities and constituencies around the globe.
How's communication going to happen between all these millions of deputy mayors?
I think that the advent of the internet is a very unutilized resource so far in terms of our ability to connect with people across the globe in a way that is not divisive, but breeding solidarity and cooperation, as well as delineating differences of opinion and still being able to find these pathways towards cooperation and solidarity, but in a way that is fluid and evolving, where we can communicate with each other and listen to each other's needs and desires around what it's like to be alive in this day and age, and what people and communities and regions need and want from the world, and how we can compromise and find each other, meet each other in those places. I think I have a lot of ideas about how things could operate better than they are now, but I don't feel that my ideas are any more important or correct than other people's. And I have I have a primary intention to create a system where we can protect and share what limited clean water there is for the sake of survival, not only of humans, but the millions of animal and plant species that are still with us.
That's a beautiful message and a beautiful intention. How do you plan to get the word out about your campaign?
So we're recruiting deputies on the ground, and there are also avenues through internet platforms and social media that people can reach out and connect and submit their application to be a deputy, and also share ideas with each other. You can find Monday for Mayor on Instagram. It's at Monday for Mayor.
Okay, at Monday for Mayor, and that's where you can find information on how to submit an application to be a deputy mayor.
Yeah, and you can upload videos there and on YouTube.
Okay.
And the interview process is a simple one question interview.
Okay.
And that is, if you were deputy mayor of a planet and had unlimited access to staffing and resources, how would you spend your first week in office?
Okay, so it's like an essay question.
Yes, and you can be as thorough as you'd like. It's about describing your direct actions in 1 week of stepping into that role as a functionary diplomat of or collective stewardship of the planet.
Okay, and so by that answer to that one question, you'll be able to tell what department they would be best serving, because they're going to be assigned to a department, I assume, as a deputy mayor.
Well, you can create your own department.
Oh, you can create your own. Okay.
In your application, you can explain whatever kind of role that
That's great.
you would like to take.
Sounds very open-ended that way.
Mm-hmm. And then people that want to serve in similar functionary roles can collaborate, and some of the functionary roles are establishing and overseeing how systems and enclaves of departmental entities are operating and interacting. And those kind of logistics, I have a lot of ideas about, but that's not my department.
How long does it take for an application to get processed? Like, is there a lot of bureaucracy yet, or is it pretty efficient right now?
I imagine in the long term that we have some sort of blockchain checking system and ranked choice kind of voting. Like, if there are people submitting their applications and the interactivity and positive response that they get from the populace at large would indicate their position. So if there are only 12 million positions, for example, that the 12 million people in the running that have the highest standing or most like approval from the global community could be in that role, and then rely on deputies within the enclave to establish their own sense of how we navigate minority needs and desires, etc.
What about people that don't want to step into the role? They're not quite ready to be a full-on deputy mayor. Like, is there another thing that someone can be signing up for to be a part of this, so that they're part of the decision-making process in some way, or that they're part of the community?
Yeah, so you would be able to make your voice count by supporting various factions and movements within the enclaves of deputies. And also, more importantly, the invitation is to take hold of your role as a human citizen, a global citizen, and to enact the kind of world that you want to live in, and the
Beautiful.
systems that you want to see in place, and supporting organizations and causes and groups and conversations and arguments and in all avenues that are in line with the kind of world that you would like to see. So whether it's joining a club or educating yourself or getting involved in various kinds of activism or organizations that you believe in, supporting them financially or with your time, or spreading the word about them.
How did you get the name Monday Morning?
It was a misunderstanding. Somebody thought that I was that I wasn't being present on a Saturday night because I was talking about what I had to do on Monday. And for me, it was kind of hilarious because the weekend didn't end for me on Monday. There's like Monday is when like many people think of as the beginning of doing the work that needs to be done for this period of time. And that can be true in our modern culture. A lot of people start work on Monday for the week. And I think the time to start work is right now, whatever time it is now.
Right.
And this is also the time to start playing.
Exactly. I think it's a nice way of taking back the day Monday that you did that. Yeah, it's just too much negativity around it in the general culture. What do you think of the Mamas and Papas song? Is that helping or hurting?
I think the Mamas and Papas have a really jovial sense of expressing life experiences that are painfully beautiful. And this song is the most common trope when people learn my name. They start singing that song. There's a lot of other songs about Monday, but that's the one that I hear the most often.
Yeah.
It immediately comes out of people, Monday, Monday. And the song is about how you can't trust that day. Mm-hmm. And all the other days are fine, but Monday makes you cry. And so, yeah, in a way, I'm trying to reclaim the Monday theme. And it's not a day to dread if there are things that you need to do on Monday, whether it's at your job. If you don't think that your job is worthwhile, I would recommend finding a different line of work.
Yeah, Monday morning is really the litmus test of should you be at this job or not.
Yeah, so if you want to have like a dream job that's working towards the establishment of a brighter future for the earth, I say do that. Figure out what it is that you'd rather be doing and figure out how to do that, and please ask for support in doing that.
Yeah, and believe in yourself that you can do that instead of the job that you're not enjoying.
Because what it's going to take is not 12 million people doing that, but billions of people doing that together.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. That's a beautiful campaign message, and it's a beautiful platform. Are you eventually going to have like a website people can go to in addition to the Instagram?
Yeah, it's coming.
Coming soon?
Yeah, working on
Great.
different kinds of channels. And
is there a YouTube channel yet? that's in the works as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I can totally see a YouTube channel being a big part of the campaign. And do you have like yard signs yet? Like that I could put in my yard?
You can make a yard sign Monday for mayor, or
Okay.
we'll have ones available
Oh, I can't
for
wait to see it.
distribution.
I can't wait to see the yard
As well,
signs.
we'd also invite you to run for office of any kind. If you feel that things could be different in the world and want to affect change and you feel up for the task, like, I just encourage you to explore how to work your way into local government and regional organizations, and campaign for yourself, like what you think matters, and your like heart and your passion and desire to make the world a better place are important and so needed. And whether that's just taking more control and agency of your own life and amongst your friends and family and community, or doing something bigger, like, the time is now to do it.
Tell us a little bit about the Glad Wagon project.
Okay.
What are your ideas with that?
So the Glad Wagon is an interdimensional multimedia experience center, which is folds into a 6-foot by a 4-foot box. And it is where I have cabinet meetings. The box is made of cabinets, and old cabinets that are brightly painted.
Okay.
And it folds open into a multimedia experience center, and it is the driving train of the mayoral campaign, as well as several other endeavors and projects, and the host of a myriad of interactive art installations and collective experiences.
It sounds awesome. It sounds really fun and interactive, and kind of like nothing anyone has seen before. Exactly the way that you've described it. It's it sounds very unique, and I can't wait to see it in person. I can't wait to see it unfurled with all that it is going to be offering. It sounds like a great thing to have at a festival, or even just like an empty parking lot turned it into a party and an interactive experience with the Glad Wagon. Sounds like a lot of places could benefit from that. It's kind of like an instant pop-up party and community.
Yeah,
Central hub kind of thing.
It's a creative art station. It's a sideshow theater. It's a puppet theater. It's a movie theater, as well as a DJ booth. And
I love it. There's a lot going on.
And it's a lot of other things in the works too, and we'll be rolling around the world with the Glad Wagon trailer, and have a lot of surprises in store, and it'll be something a little bit new and interesting every time.
I can see that. I hear it might also have like a TV station element.
Yeah.
Broadcasting what's happening in real time. People can tune in to the Glad Wagon, see what's happening, see what art is being created in the multimedia, multidimensional centers.
Yeah, and you can you also be able to track the misadventures of the Glad Wagon on social media at the Glad Wagon, and it's in its early stages. We're going to be seeing it coming out to play a lot this summer.
Summer 2024. All right.
And the subsequent years to come.
Just getting started.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about working on within the next few weeks from this moment?
So there's there's a lot of projects that I'm working on and that we're working on together, and there's a lot of them have imminent steps that must be taken. So,
So serious. In
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. What's most exciting? So my focus for financing my life right now is by promoting an innovative creation of mine that is about to disrupt the Department of Fun and Games and the board gaming world, and especially the world of chess.
I was going to ask you about this. This is a big deal. It's about to launch too, right? You're about to start the crowdfunding campaign for this.
Yeah, we'll be starting a crowdfund campaign this June for
Okay.
a board game that I discovered and invented, which is called Galaxia Chess. It is a variation of the global classic chess that is played on an array of hexagonal spaces instead of squares, and it can be played by 2 or 3 players. The rules are essentially the same as chess, but with 50% more angles.
That's beautiful. And so what do you see happening for people when there's 3 people playing instead of 2? How does that change the dynamics?
So there's a lot more mystery and unknown. It's harder to calculate what will happen after 2 people make a move out of a dozen choices or many more. And there is this element also where all 3 teams are standing shoulder to shoulder when the game begins on the board. So it's very crowded and there is a lot of capturing. So if you're not taking pieces right away, you're way behind. So it's a game of trading, and there's a lot of volatility and risk and danger, and there is a lot of calculating, and everyone who has been playing it seems to have kind of a rush of, they're like, you have to think a lot to play this game, but it's really fun.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds very exciting and invigorating, and something a little different than the conventional chess. Are there people that have strong reactions, like that aren't ready for it? Do you encounter that sometimes?
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It is it's a thinking game. But the thing that a lot of people get excited about chess or are addicted to chess is because the calculating the strategy of like how you want to move or what the next person is going to do requires machinations of the brain, which produce endorphins and also burn calories. And so you kind of get this euphoric rush from the thrill of like competition, as well as using your mind to make all these calculations. And this game is kind of ramps up that effect because there's more abstraction in the angles, as well as the variability increase from having 2 decisions made before it comes back to you. So it just makes this process of thinking about how it works, it actually is really invigorating and creating this sense of wonder and excitement.
That's really cool. And it really does feel to me, not being a chess person, but it seems from the outside like it could be the next natural evolution of chess, if people want to be open to it.
Well, thanks. I think in a big way that it is accessible to everyone that enjoys chess, and that it will be a very thrilling and exciting new game for chess players and people that like to play games.
Do you think it might bring some new people into the chess fold that weren't even interested in chess, but now because it's in a new format and there can be 3 people, maybe it will bring in some new people
Very
to
possibly.
that world?
Yeah,
Cool.
I also think there are studies that show that playing games like chess can actually increase your intellect and lateral thinking. And I think that this game is more powerful in that capacity than the original.
Ah, okay. So it's definitely like a ramped up chess. That's cool. Yeah. It's exciting that you're working on this. So is there going to be some crossover between the chess project and the mayor project, or are those kind of very separate, keeping those separated?
Well, I have a lot of different projects, and they're not mutually exclusive. Some of them are very different, but I think that they can all pile into the wagon.
The Glad Wagon brings it all together.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
kind of an infinity ring circus, if
Okay.
you will.
Infinity Ring Circus.
Yeah.
What's that exactly?
So there is this historical idea of a 3-ring circus, that the circus is so big that you need 3 big circles of the stage for different things to be happening at once. And the Glad Wagon is designed to facilitate a myriad of experiences and projects. And so it can host a campaign for mayor, and it can be hosting a tienda and an access point for people to experience and learn and acquire the Galaxia Chess game, as well as other games and toys that I'm developing and some other friends have developed or are working on, as well as other projects and dispersal of literature and co-creation, as well as can be a avenue for carrying out or hosting some of the other things we're working on, like Collectivision.
Yeah, I'm really excited to work on Collectivision with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do another podcast where we talk about that. It's still kind of in development.
Yeah, cool.
Bring that out more and more as we go. And I like to end every podcast with 3 simple questions that I borrowed from Noah at the Synchronicity podcast. He asked these to his guests. The first one is, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color definitively is the entire range of the visible light spectrum and beyond.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite number?
My favorite number would probably have to be infinity and all of its integrals and derivatives.
A sensible choice. And what's your favorite animal?
I really like to come to a place where it's easy for me to say myself. I'm working on that.
Lovely.
It's self-love.
Self-love practice. And I had one more question for you. If someone becomes a deputy mayor, how are people going to know that they're one? Is there like some sort of badge that they're going to wear, or how are people going to?
So one of the creative projects that is available on the Glad Wagon and wherever you encounter me is that we can do an interview and create a badge determining like what your role and department is in the deputy system. But in terms of cataloging an official team of deputies is something that will come into play more clearly as the thousands begin to coalesce.
So there'll be like a directory on the website where you can contact different departments.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow, I can't wait to figure out what department I might be able to be. I need to put in my application like everyone else and write my essay. So I'm going to work on that next and get that in.
Yeah, and don't worry about writing an essay. It can be
okay.
as simple as
Paragraph.
a one sentence, or
okay.
a paragraph.
Sure.
Or I mean, you can write a novel or a book or
okay,
or whatever you need to express yourself. But we're talking about like, just communicating with the public about what you want to be up to.
Okay. Is there anything, before we part, is there anything that you would like to leave people with, a message, an inspiration, a thought?
One of the tropes that I have carried with me for a long time and well known for is delivering the sacred message of the Sushi Star Brigade. And it is a message from the Sushi Star Brigade to all sentient life throughout the universe. And it's a simple reminder, which is, you are a star dazzle. I love you.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to make sure to ask for the Sushi Star Brigade when next time I'm at the restaurant at the edge of the universe. I like hanging out there. There's always really good live music. But I'm gonna check on that one next time I'm there. I bet they would be serving there, right? Sushi Star Brigade.
Yeah, there's sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe if I'm lucky, find them.
It's kind of a pop-up impromptu sushi service in many ways. Yeah.
I like pop-ups. Nice. Monday morning. Thanks for joining me here on
Thank you,
Bon
Sean.
Bon's Nook. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too.